Some crimes are buried. But some refuse to stay buried. At the far end of a quiet town stood a house no one dared to enter. The windows were not broken. The walls were strong. The roof did not leak. Nothing about it looked dangerous. And yet, for 10 long years, it stood completely empty. Because every night, just before midnight, something inside that house began to move. Footsteps. Slow. Heavy. Coming from the cellar. Step. 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 Then silence. The few brave souls who tried to spend the night there never lasted until morning. They ran out pale and shaking, refusing to explain what they had seen. Some said it was cursed. Some said it was haunted. But one man decided fear was not enough reason to ignore the truth. He was a preacher. A calm and thoughtful man. Not known for strength, but known for faith. One cold evening, carrying nothing but a lantern and his Bible, he walked straight toward the house everyone feared. The townspeople watched from a distance. They expected him to return before midnight. He did not. Inside, the air felt thick and cold. Dust floated through the dim light as he lit a small fire in the fireplace. The house remained completely still. He sat down and began to read quietly. Hours passed. Nothing happened. Then the clock struck 11:59, and the sound began. From beneath the floorboards. Soft at first. Like wood shifting. Then clearer. Footsteps climbing wooden stairs. Step. 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 The cellar door handle slowly turned. The preacher's heart pounded, but he did not move. The door creaked open. And standing there was a young woman. But she was not alive. Her dress was torn. Dirt covered her skin. Her face was pale, almost gray. Her eyes looked empty, hollow like shadows. She did not walk. She glided forward. The fire flickered violently as she spoke in a voice that sounded like wind moving through dry leaves. "I have waited long enough." The preacher swallowed his fear. "What do you want?" he asked. Her story poured out like a confession carried by the dead. Years ago, she had fallen in love with a man in that town. She trusted him completely. He promised marriage, promised a future. But he discovered something else he loved more than her. Her money. One night, he brought her to that very house. He told her they would begin their new life there. Instead, he ended hers. He killed her and buried her beneath the cellar floor. No funeral. No prayers. No justice. He returned to town pretending nothing had happened. And for years he lived peacefully. Respected. Trusted. Untouched by suspicion. But she did not rest. Her spirit was not driven by revenge. It was trapped by truth. "I do not want blood," she whispered. "I want justice." She asked the preacher to dig beneath the cellar, to find her bones, to bury her properly. And then she gave him one final instruction. "Take the smallest bone from my left hand, and place it in the church offering plate this Sunday." Before he could question her, she vanished. The fire steadied. The house returned to silence. The next morning, the preacher gathered a few trusted men. They dug beneath the cellar floor. And there they found her. Exactly where she had said. Her remains were carefully removed and buried in the town cemetery with proper prayers. Sunday arrived. The church was full. Voices sang. Heads bowed. The murderer was there too, standing confidently among the crowd. The preacher placed the offering plate at the front. Hidden beneath coins and folded bills was a tiny bone from a left hand. The plate passed from person to person. Nothing happened. Until it reached him. The moment his fingers touched the bone, he screamed. The bone clung to his skin as if alive. He shook his hand violently, trying to throw it off. It would not move. The church fell silent. His face drained of color. Sweat poured down his forehead. And then, he collapsed to his knees, confessing everything. The lies. The betrayal. The murder. He had believed the earth would hide his crime forever. But truth has a strange way of rising. And karma has a way of waiting. The man was arrested. Justice followed. That night, the preacher returned to the house one final time. At midnight, the footsteps came again. But they were softer now. Gentler. The spirit appeared once more. This time, her face looked peaceful. "You have freed me," she said. And slowly, she faded into the darkness. The footsteps never returned. The house was never haunted again. Because justice had finally been served. Some people think karma is slow. Some think it does not exist. But sometimes, it waits quietly in the shadows until the perfect moment. And when it arrives, it does not knock. It walks up the cellar stairs. Step, step. Welcome to Karma Tales, where the truth never stays buried.